Venezuela, the newly elected governor to the Guayana Esequiba state, Neil Villamizar, was sworn in on Thursday for the period 2025-2029. In Panama, the trade unions strike and protest are underway to demand the repeal of Law 462 of the Social Security Fund and stand against the government's policies. The Israeli occupation army killed 4 journalists in an attack on the Al-Ali Baptist Hospital in Gaza City. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Alejandra Garcia from teleSUR Studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Venezuela, the newly elected governor to the Guayana Esequiba state, Neil Villamizar, was sworn in on Thursday for the period 2025-2029. In a ceremony presided by Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, the members of the Legislative Council of the state carried out the swearing-in process as established by the Venezuelan Constitution. During the act, Governor Villamizar emphasized that this is a historic moment for the Guayana Esequiba, a special moment for the country, and confirmed that the Esequiba belongs to Venezuela. Villamizar highlighted the implementation of the Esequiba 7T program adapted to the needs of the territory with a strong popular focus. Furthermore, the governor emphasized that his administration will focus on minors producing % of the state's population.
And that's the intention, to go ahead with a governmental program named Esequiba 7T, derived from the Homeland Plan, which is organic law from the 2025-2031, the plan of 7 transformations, and this, according to our Commander-in-Chief and President Nicolás Maduro, this is going to be a popular government. We will boost a communal government because the good things are made by the people, and so we are going to focus on communal projects. We governed miners, we govern alongside agriculture producers, housewives, artisans, and alongside drivers, entrepreneurs, and all our indigenous people that represent over 90% of the population of our Guayana Esequiba state.
During the event, Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez made reference to the fact that the state of Guayana Esequiba is now non-negotiable and that the United States should be aware that it will not be taken away.
Right now, we are just writing history. It was born, the political idea of our Guayana Esequiba state. We've got an idea to act and live in the territory that belongs to us.
The government of Venezuela denounced on Thursday the new travel restrictions announced by the Trump administration, condemning them as a new stigmatization campaign against the Venezuelan people. The official communique states that Venezuela categorically condemns and rejects the campaign of stigmatization and criminalization launched against its people by the government of the United States of America, now expressing a new attack that restricts the issuance and validity of visas for Venezuelan citizens without any justification and with obvious political and intimidating purposes. It goes on to condemn that this operation has been promoted by the current Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, an official known for his hatred of the Venezuelan people, who has made systematic aggression his foreign policy with the support of the Venezuelan far-right Furthermore, the Venezuelan government reiterated its unwavering commitment to defending the rights and interests of Venezuelans anywhere in the world, and in the face of this new wave of aggression, reaffirms the maximum travel alert to the United States of America. The communique ends by underscoring what has happened is not an isolated incident, but a new demonstration of the visceral hatred against the Venezuelan people that animates those who today conduct Washington's foreign policy. In this context, Venezuelan Minister of Interior, Justice and Peace, Diosdado Cabello, also rejected the decree that partially restricts the entry of Venezuelan migrants to the U.S. On his program Con el Mazo Dando, Cabello affirmed that the measure not only affects Venezuela, but also citizens of 6 other countries whose applications for entry had been restricted. The minister further described as risky to travel to the United States. In this regard, the PSUV leader accused the U.S. government of being led by fascist and supremacist sectors that persecute Venezuelan citizens without justification.
The United States has just prohibited the entry of any Venezuelan. They are like 9 countries. Not even with a visa. Visas for the United States have been eliminated. It is really risky for anyone to be in the United States, not only for Venezuelans. If you're feeling irresponsible, go to the United States, take your holidays, and go to the United States. Ask for it. Make the effort and go to the United States. In the US government there are bad people. It's fascism. It's the supremacists who think they own the world.
More on this topic, as Cuba's Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez also rejected the Trump administration's decree. Through the social network X, the official denounced that the new ban on entry to the U.S. for nationals of several countries has racist undertones and is supported by anti-Cuban politicians, adding that it harms contact between Cuban families. It damages personal, professional, academic and cultural exchanges between the two countries. The government of China has condemned the latest tariff hikes on steel and aluminum products imposed by the United States, warning of the negative impact on global supply chains.
The United States has once again raised tariffs on steel, aluminum and their derivative products. This move is not only detrimental to itself and others, does nothing to safeguard industrial security, but also disrupts the stability of global supply chains. The U.S. approach has been opposed by multiple countries. China urges the U.S. to respect economic laws, abandon zero-sum thinking, stop generalizing and abusing the concept of national security, and work together with other countries to safeguard a rules-based, multilateral trading system.
And now we have a short break coming up, but first remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates and more. We'll be right back, stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. In Panama, the trade unions strike and protests are underway to demand the repeal of Law 462 of the Social Security Fund and stand against the government's policies. The Ministry of Education requested the resumption of classes after 43 days of indefinite strike, but the teachers' union stated that they won't engage in dialogue or return to the classroom until the law be repealed. In this sense, trade unions urge citizens to join rallies grounded in this law harms families. Moreover, they underscored that privatization only guarantees a decrease and an elimination of the historical benefits won with hard work. Therefore, Panamanians rejected the Memorandum of Understanding with the United States, the military bases, the reopening of the Donoso copper mine, and the persecution of trade unions. In this context, regardless the constitutional right to go on strike in Panama, the General Comptroller of the Republic indicated that the stoppage of classes by teachers was illegal. Subsequently, the authority announced that next week 15,000 educators won't receive their salaries. They further advanced they would access other legal actions they may take against the teachers' union. Likewise, the Comptroller's office highlighted they would review the teachers' data bank to replace those instructors who were not teaching due to they had to join the strike. A report reveals that 30% of Salvadorans struggle to make ends meet due to low income. A publication by the consultancy firm Kantar states that 46% of Salvadorans base their budget on current priorities. The report also highlights the important role that remittances play in supporting families. The document also notes that Salvadoran households differ from those in the rest of the Central American region in that 60% say that remittances they receive are mostly spent on basic goods. In El Salvador, lawyer Ruth Lopez, a significant investigator of the crimes committed by the Bukele administration, will remain in prison after her initial hearing against her finished Wednesday. The prosecution charged her Wednesday with illicit enrichment. As a result, her trial was declared in reserve by a judge. This implied no media outlets could attend her hearings. In addition, it entailed plaintiffs have no contact with the defendant. Thus, by the time Lopez was leaving the 12th Peace Court in San Salvador, she claimed to be a political prisoner because of her work against corruption and abuses of power by the government. In this context, outside the court, activists gathered to express their solidarity with the lawyer and denounce the persecution against human rights defenders. The Peruvian Minister of Defense, Walter Astudillo, extended Wednesday for 60 days the state of emergency in the Patás province, where mining activities would be resumed after 13 security guards had been massacred there.
The Supreme Decree was approved today, which extends the state of emergency in the Patás province in La Libertad department. So the decree guarantees the continuity of mining activities.
The Russian Defense Ministry reported Thursday that its troops managed to destroy Ukrainian workshops, warehouses and drone launching sites in the past 24 hours. The entity further detailed that several ammunition depots and temporary deployment sites of the Ukrainian Air Forces had been rendered inoperative in some 100 had shot down a US-made HIMARS missile and around 154 drones, 60 of which had been in civilian areas. Moreover, authorities noted that the Ukrainian enemy troops lost some 90 military personnel as well as armored vehicles, self-propelled artillery units, rocket launchers, electronic warfare equipment, and other defense materials. And we have a second show break coming up, but before we invite you to teleSUR English, there you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final show break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to From the South. The Israeli occupation army killed 4 journalists in an attack on the Al-Ali Baptist Hospital in Gaza City on Thursday. The Wafa news agency reported that Israeli drones bombed the courtyard of the health facility, killing 4 of them and leaving a 5th critically wounded. The press members were on assignment near the hospital entrance, an area known to be frequented by media personnel. In this context, the director of the medical center reported that several people were injured in the attack, stressing this is the 8th time Israel has targeted the facility since the start of its genocidal campaign in October 2023. More than 220 communication workers have been killed since then. In the last 24 hours, the Israeli army has killed at least 70 civilians and wounded more than 180 in the attacks on the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian Ministry of Health announced that those injured had been transferred to hospitals in the Gaza Strip. The ministry pointed out that 54,677 people have been killed and around 125,600 injured as a result of the Israeli aggression since October 7, 2023. The report also stated that there are still victims trapped under the rubble and that ambulances and civil defense vehicles cannot access the roads. In Germany, demonstrators gathered to protest the visit of Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar. The mobilization took place in front of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Berlin, where dozens rallied holding Palestinian flags and placards condemning the genocide Israel commits on Gaza. Protesters denounced the war crimes committed by Tel Aviv and demanded the prosecution of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Furthermore, demonstrators called for the government to ban weapons export to Israel after German Foreign Minister Johann Wadefull reaffirmed on Thursday the nation's military support to the Zionist regime, also affirming that recognizing a Palestinian state at the moment would send the wrong signal. While in France for a state visit, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva condemned the genocide Israel perpetrates against Palestinians in Gaza, calling world powers to unite to put an end to it.
What is happening in Gaza is not a war. What is happening in Gaza is a genocide carried out by a highly prepared army against women and children. That is what is happening. And humanity has to be indignant in the face of it. Society must be indignant in the face of it, and it's why I keep demanding. And I am becoming the very boring guy that I keep demanding changes at the United Nations, but the United Nations of today cannot be the United Nations of 1945. The organization of today has to have the participation of the African continent, South America, Latin America. And it is important that the world powers put an end to this immediately. We cannot continue to have the United Nations calling for a ceasefire and not have a ceasefire respected. So people, we are still seeing genocide in front of us every single day. Every single day. Yesterday 95 people have died, all innocent and civilians.
On the second day of the Hajj pilgrimage, thousands of Muslim faithful flocked to Mount Arafat in Saudi Arabia to pray, seek forgiveness and reflect on their faith. Despite heatwave warnings, hundreds of thousands of Muslim pilgrims from around the world began the rituals of the Hajj on Wednesday. This annual pilgrimage takes them to the Saudi cities of Mecca and Medina, where Islam was born 14th centuries ago. Before dawn, pilgrims began arriving at the historic hill where the Prophet Muhammad delivered his farewell sermon over 1,400 years ago during his final pilgrimage. Many of the faithful choose to fast on this day, as it is believed that doing so atones for the sins of the previous and coming years. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net and join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram and TikTok as well. For Telesur English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.